Okay, in this video, although the last video got shut off, I didn't realize the time limit of these videos. We're going to let you know you can change the names of the people I'm about to tell you about to where they match the people in your town, to where they match the lawbreakers in your town, to where they match the drug sellers in your town, to where they match the law department in your town, federal, city, and state. They're all involved. Okay, here's the story. The federal government tells the Longorias. Now this is a truthful name of the Longorias in liberal Kansas and in other states. The federal government tells the Longorias, you bring the drugs, we're talking about marijuana, cocaine, LSD, whatever kind of drug you want, from Mexico, Colombia, wherever you get it at. The USA government's going to protect you, and you're going to bring the drugs into the USA, and you're going to sell the drugs. The USA government will not arrest you or bust you for having the drugs, for selling the drugs. You're going to pay the USA government half, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, of all the money that you make from selling all those drugs. You're also going to tell the USA government everybody you sell those drugs to. That way the USA government keeps track of it. That way they know who does, who doesn't do the drugs. See, that way the USA government is running the criminal operation. That way the USA government is getting all this money off of these drug sales. You know, marijuana alone is said to be the #1 crop in America. The money from marijuana sales amounts to more than any and every crop sold in America, grown for food. Marijuana outsells it all. So automatically the USA government's getting half or more of that money. Of course, they don't want all you citizens out there who don't know about it to know about it, right? That's why they run that criminal operation called the USA government behind all the drug sales. Plus all the other drugs. Okay, so the Longorias from Mexico, and of course, why do they ship a lot of their money down there? That way, in case the government ever turns on them, hopefully they can get down there and they'll be rich. Or whenever they want to, they go on vacation. They go down there, they want to do something, they get the money. You know, keep it out of the USA if at all possible, you know, that way they always have it. Now the Longorias in liberal Kansas, they had their mom, their dad, and all the children were involved. Martha was the female. Then there's George and Frank, Mike, Reuben, Alfred, Richard. They all did the drug selling. Their other relation in Oklahoma, down in Texas, located in the Fort Worth, Dallas area, they all did the same thing. So they bring in these big shipments of drugs from down south. They bring them in, they spread them out as they're heading up north. They go through there, and then they spread them all out everywhere else. But the same thing goes on in all of your towns and cities also. The federal government's behind it all. So's the state, and so's your city cops. Now then, of course, they may say, oh, you know, we're really doing that so that we can bust these people. No, they're not. They're doing it so that they get all the money. By attacking other people then, and using the lawbreakers to attack other people to do those drugs, then they get more money by having all the different people do the drugs. That's why whenever they use those lawbreakers to attack people who don't, that's why whenever they use laws and rules to attack people who don't, that's why they don't do things whenever they're using those lawbreakers to attack people who don't. Because by getting more and more people to do it, then they get more and more money. See, the USA government's very greedy. Almost anything they say don't do or do, if they get money, they do it. If they get money, they'll have it done. You know, a very, very greedy government. Okay. So then, also, if somebody else starts selling drugs, Longorians want to find out about it. They want to know about it. So if they got regular customer buying from them, all of a sudden stops coming around, then they want to figure somebody else is selling. They want to know about it. Then they can find out who else is selling. Then of course Chuck Lucas or the other government people involved can go and arrest them to keep them from selling, so that Longorians are selling. See, also by doing that, then the government's keeping track of it all. Now, if the government wanted somebody else there to be doing the selling, then the government would not have the Longorians do the selling and have the other person do it. But they want to keep it, that way, So if somebody else goes on some trip and comes back with a bunch of marijuana selling it, and it didn't come from the Longorians that the USA government said, yeah, you can sell these drugs, then of course the government could be missing out on their money. Of course, the government therefore then wants that person not to sell, so they have that person arrested. Or sometimes the government and the Longorians will have what they call pawns. They want to get other people to smoke, so then they can non-arrest them or arrest them whenever they want. That way it makes them look like they're busting somebody for using drugs. And of course they want somebody else to have some marijuana that they can say the other person is out to sell, so that then they can bust that person, so that they can say they're arresting that person for selling drugs. See, the USA government is doing something about the drug problem in the USA. They arrested that person over there for selling drugs. They arrested that person over there for using drugs. But see, they got their certain people that they do not arrest. Although I'm not in liberal Kansas right now, those people have been and are, or they've moved to some other towns and cities, along with still being there. Here in this town, there's people that's that way too. There's a guy by the name of Lewis here. I had his last name too. I can't think of it right now, but everybody knows. That guy's never been arrested. The police department knows it. They allow him to sell drugs because he pays the bribes. He pays them so much of it. He tells on the other people. So that then the USA government can say, well, let's see, the Longorians are selling drugs to 100 people here. That's so much drugs every week. We get so much money. The Longorians get so much money. And then, of course, they can go and arrest those 100 different people all at different times, Arrest John Doe over here, because the Longorians just called him up on the phone and said, John Doe just bought, an ounce or 2 or 3 from us. Yeah, he left about 30 minutes or so ago. Probably got it in his car, his house, So then the police department goes out there. Yeah, there you are. Pulls a guy over, a girl over, busted them. Yep. Okay, I think this video is getting close to ending, but it's not only the Longorians that sell the drugs. Grover Bryan, the town judge, he's did drugs before. Yeah, and his son, he sells the drugs too. Kevin, his daughter's into drugs too. Grover Bryan's daughter, yep, they all do the drugs. That's why they want everybody else to do them too. That way they can say they either do it or they don't, if you do it or don't, but so that they can get away with doing it. They say they're going to get away with doing it anyway, because if you tell on them, are they going to get busted? No, I don't think so. A law-breaking cop, you tell a cop, hey, you're doing this law-breaking, he could tell 100 people they're doing it and bust them, but you tell on him for doing it, he ain't going to get in trouble because the government's doing it. Okay, yeah, ask Kevin where he got his drugs from. Either the Longorians, or sometimes they went and got their own from some other people, but it was all the USA government allowing them to do it, because that's a judge and the judge's son selling the drugs, see? Yeah, okay, this video is about over, so look for the next video. You all have a good night. Thank you.